Well, I think that is consistent with with their promises. But by far more important than that is the constitutional requirement that such declarations must be made. The Constitution is clear in Section 140 of the 1999 Constitution regarding the duty of such public officers occupying those respective offices to declare their assets, not just assets, also their liabilities once they are sworn in. And that much has happened. I think the controversy has always been that of whether it should be made public or not. The law requires them to declare their assets. By the high moral standards which they have, on the basis of which they had rose to power, they are insisting that they are going to make theirs public. And they gave a timeline, and that has happened. So I agree perfectly with those who hold the view that this has set a new tone. And the Constitution also expects that other public officers should follow suit and declare their assets. If your president declares his asset publicly, there won't be anything too much expected from other cadres of leaders to do the same. I think it is a welcome development. And I think that by far more than the controversies and furore over the whole thing is the quality of people we are dealing with. I mean, a former president of this country, former minister, former governor, former chairman of a very lucrative agency of government, to come with such a sparta, financial base is something to watch very closely. And I think that quite a number of people who are in doubt as to the integrity and credibility of these gentlemen will begin to have a rethink.
Very quickly, it doesn't look to some Nigerians going back into our history books as the very first time we're getting to see this. Late President Musa Yar'Adua and his vice at that time, Vice President Goodluck Jonathan at that point in time, they did declare their assets publicly.
Well, that cannot be contested, but you would recall that Nigerians had come to a point where they needed to take those issues by far more than what happened in the past. I can assure you that besides the three-pronged approach and agenda of this present government, namely security, to provide security, to provide employment, and to tackle corruption.
Very quickly, let's talk about the CCB's capacity here, because the spokesperson of the President, Garba, did say they are yet to get everything sorted out with the CCB, that's the Code of Conduct Bureau. Do you think that they're overwhelmed with some of these materials sent by public officers to the office?
Well, I think you would recall that the declaration was already made. What is an issue is the publication of those declarations. And once you have an agency that is saddled with the responsibility to ascertain the authenticity of such declarations, you would be rest assured that every details. They say the devil is in the details. So some of these assets are not within the shores of this country. You could see that the vice president, is a very gentleman that I know, has assets outside the shores of this country. You do not depend on email correspondences to verify the authenticity, more so when the Nigerian people and the entire world are particularly interested in the assets of this gentleman. But I would want to also remind Nigerians that by virtue of Section 3 of the Part 1 of the 5th schedule to the Constitution, no public officer in that category is also expected, henceforth, moving forward, to have and operate foreign accounts as they previously had.